Hello and welcome to News Desk. I apologize profusely for the lateness, but this morning on the program we deal with public schools without toilets, would rope in the general sanitation situation in the capital city. And then also there's been the issue of the decoupling of the Attorney General Department from the Justice Ministry. Exactly what does this mean? We'll try and get an understanding of the issues, and you can join me with your comments on Joynews on TV, on Facebook, and on Twitter as well. I tweet at Hemini. I'll be so glad to share your thoughts with the rest of us here in this community. And well, you're welcome to News Desk. My name is Hemini Ama. Thank you very much for staying on. Up 10,000 schools are without toilet facilities, and on the program this morning would talk something very basic: toilet facilities. And with me in the studio is Sherry Thompson. She's also known as Mama Lou. I'm sure you get the drift why she's known as Mama Lou. Thank you very much, Sherry, for joining us.
Thank you for asking me.
You have been on this course for a while now.
Yes.
Take us through some of the observations you've made.
Well, one of the things that's very troubling is when you have a school that has a cluster of about 16 or 13 schools. You have 5,000, anywhere from 4,000 to 6,000 young people, and they don't have a place to go to the bathroom. So you have young people actually going to the bathroom on a garbage dump or doing open defecation at a bush somewhere, and they don't learn the proper way to go to the toilet. They don't learn what hygienic evacuation is about. So it makes it like, you know, they're just pooping like puppies and dumping like dogs. And we're human beings with dignity. So part of getting a young person to feel good about themselves is instilling self-esteem and dignity from the very, very beginning. When you have 10,000 schools without toilets, where's the self-esteem?
This is a real number.
Yeah. Yes.
Because for many, 10,000 schools without toilet, because you would think that once the school is built, it should come with a toilet facility.
Right.
And so to hear 10,000 schools, yeah, you're asking what happened.
Well, in the article, what I found, and the article was in the Daily Graphic yesterday, what I found troubling was the fact that there should be a policy to ensure that the toilet is built with the school block. I said, why do we need a policy? It's automatic that the kids will have to go to the bathroom. So my thing is, what architect, what contractor, what situation comes where you build a school and you don't put a toilet inside? I have no concept of what, you know, could be happening there. What breakdown, to the extent that only 5 years ago did you start taking a look at having a toilet with the school block? Well, in colonial days, I'm sure schools like Achimota, Legon University, the toilet was put inside. So what broke down between the colonial days and now? And now.
You've done a lot of work within Lekma, the Lejokukurowo municipality.
Yeah.
Tell us some of the things you've done there.
Well, it's not just me alone. Let me say that this is the Ghana Wash Project, and the Ghana Wash Project actually was funded by USAID, and the Lekma project is a Coca-Cola USAID initiative.
Okay, so that is the solution you sent to the Lekma students. But what drove you to Lekma in the first place?
Oh, they picked Lekma. They picked because Teshi actually at one point, which I hope it's not that way again, but they were listed as #1 in the country for open defecation. So I believe that what happened was folks said, well, if we can make an impact there, that title would go away. We could actually handle this in a holistic fashion. And so the Lekma projects impacted 9,000 young people with toilet facility and with
9,000 in Lekma alone. So this
South Lekma and North Lekma cluster of schools. Those two schools, one of the schools has 4,000 kids, And the other one, North Lekma, has 5,000 young people. So that's 9,000 young people that we gave toilets to.
And so
that
this 10,000 number could be just...
Well, that number is 10,000 schools. So that number goes across Ghana. And I can actually say a good portion of that is probably in the northern portion of Ghana.
Let's talk about this Lekma project you embarked on.
Again, Ghana Wash Project, Coca-Cola Foundation, which is the Rain Foundation, did the funding, and we built a biogas biosanitation toilet facility. And what happens there is the gas is being used in the school feeding program. The rainwater harvesting actually adds the water to the facility because they had a water problem. And the effluent is being used to, or it should be used to irrigate the grounds so that the grounds can have grass and maintain some beauty for the young people.
Have you gone back to see the project?
Yeah. What I found interesting, and there's a couple of things happening. What I found interesting is that, and this is the problem with a project, when you put something in, and when donors put something in, and this is why they get a little tired and a little fed up, they expect that once it's there, it's transferred over to you, and you maintain it. I mean, if I gave you a diamond ring, you wouldn't give it back to me and say, clean it. So what's happening is that the municipalities, the district assemblies, they must now take that facility that's been donated with funds from other taxpayers in other places, and they must now maintain that. And the problem has been the maintenance. If something breaks, you wait for the donor to come and fix it? No. Okay? Or if something goes wrong, you must now clean that. You must now maintain that. And I have a problem when we say we don't have a maintenance culture. Well, we better start getting one real soon, because folks have spent millions of dollars to help with this situation. And the impact needs to be seen. And the only way it can be seen is if people maintain the good work that has been started. So with those two projects I visited, and what's really exciting to see is that young people do things now with sanitation on their school to help the beauty of the school. So apart from not going to the bathroom in the bush area, that has lessened. You know, every now and then you see somebody doing it. But it's not the practice as it was before. But one thing I liked about South Lekma is that they started collecting the water sachets, you know, the little wrappers, and they started saying, we can have a revenue stream here too. So they actually send that to the recyclers, and they make money to maintain the sanitation of the school. And so these are things that once you start with a little area, it kind of has that ripple effect all across.
This could be a reflection of what is going on in many, what's the word to use, less privileged homes in the capital city especially. Because recently the AMA came up with a bylaw that said if you lived in a home without a toilet, you could be prosecuted. They give a deadline for them to build some toilets.
Well, here's the solution to that. We have a group in Kumasi. They're called Clean Team Toilets. I love these people. They have literally what I would call a solution that just fits right into your home. You don't have to build a toilet. They just come with their toilet, they put it in an area, whether you have a room or whatever little space you have, and that's where you go ahead and do your business. And then during the course of the week, they come and they empty that. Sanitary emptying. It's not like before where you had the pan on the head. No. They actually have a tub that they close up. It's sanitary. They take that away, they put a new piece in, and you continue. Now they've put in about 500 pieces, but they have 10,000 pieces that they want to deploy within the Kumasi metropolis. And so my thing on that is, hey, that's a solution. We need to roll it out.
Let's just bring in Robert Coleman. Robert Coleman is with Zoom Lion Waste Management. Let's find out how they have also been dealing with the situation of sanitation in this country. Robert, thank you for joining us on News Desk.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you. Robert, but we're discussing toilets this morning. When is Zoom Lion coming?
Yes, the line is very faint. I can't hear.
Maybe we should get back to you over the telephone.
Okay.
Would get back Robert over the telephone. But Mama Lou is still here, but she's officially she is Sherry Thompson.
Yes.
But she likes to be called.
It's a brand name.
It's a brand name, Mama Lou.
On G+, I'm hashtag Mama Lou, so I post.
Okay.
I actually use social media and post about our solutions, about the situation, about what's happening here in Ghana.
What's been the worst situation you have encountered since you started this?
Nungwa cluster schools. 6,000 young people, 16 schools, no toilet.
Sad.
Sad. Very sad.
And so, like you say, with the Nungwa cluster of schools, they're a bit far from the sea, where most of them...
The kids go to the places and corners. and it's sad to see that, because you say to yourself, if our children are learning this, how is that going to change the future? Because children are our change agents. And once we teach them to do the right thing, they bring that into our future. But if they're not learning that, then what is our future looking like, really? And
then you mentioned also, it's a matter of rights. It's a matter of the fact that a child...
It is a human right, isn't
it?
Yes,
it
absolutely.
is.
It's absolutely a human right.
The child thinking less of himself. Because
absolutely.
you see your other colleagues go to proper toilets, and then you're in your school and you don't have a toilet. It's
like, okay, now I really know I'm poor. Maybe before we don't have money, but now I'm poor. It's now you're developing the poverty mentality, and that's where that remains. It doesn't change, and so somebody will not see themselves doing anything better. So, for example, you have a toilet in a hotel, but you still unzip yourself in front of the hotel and go to the wall to urinate. But you can go inside and you have access.
And that's why you spoke about behavioral change.
Exactly.
Which is
attitudinal change.
Yes, which is a part of the project, the solution you brought to the people of Lekma. We'll talk about it briefly, but Robert is back over the telephone. Robert, thank you for joining us again. I think we have lost Robert, unfortunately. But let's go on with the conversation with Sherry. And tell us about the attitudinal change. For instance, you said you went back to check on the project, and the people are not maintaining it.
Here's what we did for the behavior change communication. The young people at South Lekma went ahead and wrote stories about open defecation, and we took the best ones. We compilated them. We took the best ones, and we illustrated that with illustrations. Zingaro, I'm familiar with the gentleman, Hugh Quist. He actually illustrated the story that they wrote. And so immediately they saw themselves a part of the solution, because this is their story.
So the students wrote this?
They wrote the story.
I see.
Yeah. And so once we printed it, and then the second best story is in the back here too, and they were able to see that printed as well. So 10,000 copies of these were printed and handed out to the catchment area of USAID. They just didn't do it here in the urban setting. They did it in their catchment areas. And so young people got this, read it, enjoyed it, took notes in the back of it, what have you. And at the end of the day, you ask yourself, oh, why just 10,000 copies? We could have done 500,000 copies. But again, the donor comes, they do their part. But then what's the follow-through from everybody else?
But I am even more concerned if the students would just reach this, forget, and then they go back to what you're doing. Because
at school,
from the home, they live in a community where there are no toilets in the house.
Exactly.
And when school is over, you can't access school toilets.
It's important to at least have it in some place. Sure, when they go home, they may not have. But once you're in school, which is education, and that's the area where you're learning exactly what you're supposed to be doing in your life, then you can actually, if it's not reinforced, the next day you come back to the school and the reinforcement is there. It's a continual habit. It takes 21 days to form a habit.
But I think over here it's very difficult because, you know, the video we're watching right now, these are students who have toilets in their school. But they've been asked not to use the toilets in the school, but go to the beach and take a dump.
Yep.
A situation like this, how do you deal with it? Because they have the toilets.
Yeah. But well, what happened with South Lekma was we found out that the woman there that was supposed to clean the toilets, she didn't want to clean the toilets. So she locked the toilet and sent them to the beach. Well, when we started the project, we got rid of her.
Right.
So behavior change starts somewhere. Laziness is laziness. If you don't want to clean or maintain the toilet, and the solution to actually stopping that whole, you know, you're wanting to do that is to lock it and let the kids go and defecate all over. You're the problem. You become the problem. So I'm going to take it off of the government and why the government. It's the people. The people are the problem.
I wish the MMDAs could take quick action like the projects did and fired someone who wasn't performing. I mean, you're meant to clean the toilets and you decide you don't want to clean, so you lock it up. And so we'll put an effort to raise the AMA and the Education Service over the telephone and find out what they're doing as far as this is concerned, getting rid of some bad nuts who are making projects like what you embarked on with Wash Ghana. Is that it?
Yeah, Ghana Wash Project.
Ghana Wash Project. Yeah. Some people are making it look bad, but then you also have something. This is your
My Health, My Wealth. Yes,
I see.
And this was also done by USAID, and they contracted me to put this together. It's a wash activity book, and it's an activity book on water, sanitation, and hygiene. And our young people work through the activities, then they actually, you know, have games to play and things to do to help them imbibe the information that's in the books. And so, again, this is part of behavior change. If you make it fun for young people, they then say, oh, okay, it's fun to go to the bathroom. It's fun to save water. It's fun to have clean water. It's fun to boil water. You know, we still have people drinking bad water and feeling that that's okay. So we have an opportunity with Global Hand Washing Day, Toilet Day, World Water Day, to actually spread this kind of awareness. And we have to take the opportunity to do that. That's what we must be doing.
What role can parents play or guardians play when it comes to that student change?
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to ask this question. I have 3 children that went to school in Ghana, and basically when I visited all their schools, I went to the toilet to see what that looked like. I wonder how many parents do the same thing I do. And so you have a young child, or you have a young lady at a boarding school. Have you gone to the bathroom? Have you gone there and seen what she has to deal with on a day-to-day basis? Instead of just bringing up the provisions and, oh, honey, how are you? Yeah. Go to the toilet.
Some parents even barely do that. They send their drivers.
Okay? And so one of the things you know, not to tout a school over another school, but I went into Wesley Girls' bathroom. I was excited. You know, I'm like, this is lovely, you know. So then you can see why these young ladies are excelling, because self-esteem has been built at the very basic level, which is hygienic evacuation.
How about at home, when they have the young ones at home? Because you can have the toilet, but maintenance is also, it comes with having the toilet.
Right.
So what can they be doing at home to teach the children?
Well, first of all, there is a proper way to clean a toilet. And some of the homes you go in, the toilet is not clean. Now, I'm not saying flush the toilet all the time, because to be very honest with you, water conservation is important. So if it's yellow, you can leave it, you know. But if it's brown, get rid of it. So this is a conservation. You don't have to flush it every half a minute. But of course, if you're in a hotel, flush your toilet. So cleaning the toilet itself and making sure that that area is hygienic. no feces is splatting on the wall, and no urine smell. You can smell when something is not quite right. Bleach is very great. It's a great product. You can literally, you know, clean up everything with bleach. And being able to do that on a day-to-day basis gives your family health. Less doctor fees, less hospital visits, less all of that. And you can save money just by putting in a toilet. I say this to young ladies who are getting married. With the cloth and the ring and the Bible, they should carry a toilet.
The toilet.
Don't marry him unless you have a lovely place to evacuate yourself in the morning. That's part of your health. And if he loves you, he will have a home with a toilet for you.
Let's look at some of the basic things the parents could teach their children at home with managing toilet facilities.
One of the basic things is cleaning the toilet. I think the parent should clean the toilet unless the child is a teenager. Then they can learn how to actually clean the toilet, use the brush, wash inside, maintain the inside. A toilet has to have water. So if the water is not flowing, you got to put the water inside. That's part of maintenance. Okay, and of course it would be nice if they had a toilet seat. I go to too many toilets and the seat is gone, and we're on hardcore, you know, cold porcelain. Sitting on the toilet. Some people squat, but if you have a toilet that's off the floor, you have to sit on it. It's like your throne. So you sit there, you can read, you can pray. Sometimes I pray in my toilet. People don't understand that. Well, it's a nice, quiet place.
Quiet place.
Nobody's going to bother you there, and it's a good place to pray. So those are things that can be done to keep that place pristine. Call it your prayer closet and see what happens. See how you deal with that when you call it a prayer closet. Whole different mentality right there. Toilets should have toilet paper. Do you have the paper? Now here, you kind of put it in a dustbin. And that has to happen sometimes because the water's not flowing properly. You don't want to clog it up. But for the most part, you should be able to flush the paper down into the facility. If you do the dustbin at the side and the paper goes inside, it's got to be emptied. And that's got to be emptied usually by an adult. Put it in, you know, a trash container and emptied outside. Now, you know, again, how do you dispose of that is very important. And there's a lot of wrong disposal of toilet in the country. One of the things that I hate is when people actually use a polythene bag with the toilet itself and have it go flying somewhere. We call it, you know, well, let me not disparage an airline at this point, but we call that flying toilet. That's poor because you have an organic substance that you can literally put in the ground, dig a hole, put it in the ground, and it'll be compost. And then you put it in a substance that's not decomposing, and it stays there for a very, very long time. You know, so these are some of the things you got to kind of help your children to understand. Beside cleaning, beside disposing, you got to have water to wash your hands. Most of the disease, cholera, diarrhea, the hands are not washed with soap and running water. The hands must be washed.
You go to some schools and then all the children wash their hands in the same bowl. The water is not changed and all that. But most importantly, I think when the parents start practicing at home, they'll have their children learning from them as well.
Right now, what they're using is a solution called the Veronica bucket, which is a bucket with a spigot, and they open that up and running water comes out. And more and more I'm seeing Veronica buckets at the school. So even if they don't have a running water in the toilet facility in itself, in front of the door of the school before they get back inside, they've got to wash their hands at the Veronica bucket. I love that thing. It's absolutely fantastic.
Earlier I was telling you how this is actually a reflection of what is happening in the general community of this in this country. From where you sit, I mean, you've run this project for a while. You tell me you even have one in Kumasi around and
Well, that's Clean Team Toilets.
Clean Team Toilets.
That's Valerie Lobby, and she is the CEO of Clean Team Toilets. Phenomenal young lady, and she's going to clean it up.
From where you sit, can we achieve our MDG as far as sanitation is concerned by 2050?
We're not near that goal, and it's sad. The last time I heard it was 15%. I actually think we haven't captured. I think some of our groups work a little bit in isolation. The reporting is not as holistic as maybe it should be. But I'm just saying that because I really don't have evidence of that. But I would want to think that we're so not that bad. Because there has been quite a bit of effort in this. Monies, millions of dollars, have been spent by donor agencies to handle this. World Vision, UNICEF, USAID, you know, to name just a few. So money's millions has been spent on this. So I'm thinking the impact is not seen, number one, because of maintenance of the facilities itself. Number two, because I'm not sure that everybody's capturing everybody's effort.
I understand Robert is back over the telephone. We'll talk about what these our MMDAs can do to support these the donor agencies who come in to help with the toilet facilities, so we can achieve that MDG. But Robert, thank you for joining us again. Let's talk about general sanitation in the country. You manage waste. What would you say?
Yes, let me first of all say that we are trying our best together with all the waste management contractors that we have in the country. If you narrow it down to Accra, we have about 9 waste management contractors managing waste in about 10 sub-metros. And then we have other waste management contractors in the various municipal districts and then metropolitan assemblies. And they work with the various assemblies to ensure that we improve sanitation. I must say there are a lot of challenges that we face as waste management contractors, and we are working closely with the various assemblies to ensure that we do our best.
Robert, share some of these challenges with us.
Yes. For example, in Accra now, if you will observe, waste collection is not that effective because of the fact that in Accra we don't have a landfill site or a dump site. Formerly, when we were dumping in Achimota, you will remember and recall that we were collecting the waste effectively and timeously. Currently, we are not able to do that because all the waste management contractors, when they collect the waste, they send it to the municipal assembly, to the specific pool, where we have a well-engineered landfill site. And we also have a compost plant in Sawan. So it is a huge challenge because from the point of collection of the waste to Tema, the distance is very far, and it is not enhancing effective waste collection. So if you go to the dump site currently, and you have a lot of trucks line up to dump refuse, and by the time you come, you are already exhausted. So if a day a truck should collect about 5 trips of waste in the communities, it ends up doing only 2. So almost every day we have waste that we don't collect. In Accra alone, we generate about 2,500 tons of waste. And to be able to collect all this waste effectively, you need a dump site that is very close to the various communities. Then you'll be able to collect. If you go to countries like Malaysia, Turkey, where there's an effective system of waste collection, the point of collection and the final disposal site or the transfer station is very near, and that enhances waste collection. So it is a huge challenge that we are facing currently. Not to talk about the fact that people are also not complementing the efforts of the various waste management contractors. If you go to certain communities, anytime it is about to rain, and the cloud form. That is where people, or when people find it expedient to go and dump refuse into drains. Now people are using the drains as waste receptacles other than allowing free flow of water. Just recently on the 31st of January when it rained, we saw the flood that hit Accra. It is as a result of the fact that most of the drains that we have are choked. And you ask yourself this basic question, that how come that we have drains that are choked? The answer is simple. People are just dumping waste into these drains, and they do it with impunity. It's a huge challenge that we are facing.
As a people, Sherry, we need to change our attitudes ASAP.
Yeah.
As quickly as we can.
Now, one of the solutions is having the community-led total sanitation. And that's where the community assesses their own sanitation readiness. And we have, in the North especially, environmental health assistants going around and surveying a community. Because again, a donor will come and they want to see who's ready for the solution. They don't want to put a facility in a place that you're going to have a white elephant. So they actually go and assess whether the community is ready for that solution. If they're not ready, then they don't want to put it there.
You see, like Robert was explaining. Robert, I hope you're still there. The fact that we can use all of the rubbish and the waste we generate here in this country to produce compost, to get some recycle.
Plastic recycling. People are making money.
But you see, one interesting thing is I spoke with an energy expert who tells me, look, we don't have enough toilets to power an energy system that we need, would use the toilet. And I'm thinking, really? We don't have enough dump in this country when we see it wasted?
Actually, there is also waste to energy. You don't have to just have, gut waste or poo. All waste can be used in a waste-to-energy solution. And we have companies here in Ghana that are ready to deploy waste-to-energy solutions. So that means all the garbage would go into a plant and be turned into energy. So this load shedding would not be a problem.
Absolutely. But Robert, you were explaining that it's difficult to do this because we don't have a dump site. Hello, Robert.
Yes, it is a major problem, and I hold an ambivalent view to people who say that we cannot enter into biogas or we cannot enter into composting and then recycling. The point is that if you look at what we are doing currently, we have entered into composting, and there is a place in Hygiene, Kotoku, where a lot of waste is sent there. It is recycled, and then we have the compost, and then we do separation of waste and all that. Today, if you look at page 47 of the daily graphic, you will see that an article that has been written, and a nice article written by Nalamle Benson, is talking about the fact that we can't be able to generate and then biogas out of waste.
Robert, we're quickly running out of time. Yes, what I want to know, being a waste management company, have you been able to figure out where would be most appropriate to put a dump site here in this country, or perhaps in the capital city?
Yes, what we need to do now is that we need to have what we call transfer stations. Because in the capital, for example, in Accra now, we don't have land. And there's this syndrome that people talk about, not in my backyard syndrome, where no chief wants waste to be dumped around his area, and then the people will certainly not be happy about it. So what we intend to do, or what we are working closely with the various assemblies, especially the Metropolitan Assembly, is that we need to have what we call transfer stations.
I see. Now, what I was asking was, because there have been the situation, the the issue of where to locate these dump sites. I remember somewhere in Teshi, the dump site that was there, the people in the community decided that we don't want any more waste in this area. Where can we put our dump sites? Hello, Robert. I think we have lost Robert, but
here's what happens with dump sites, and I realize I don't work for Zoomline, but we don't even use our landfills or our dump sites very effectively. In most other countries, they compact the landfill, so they actually press that down so that it doesn't take. It's like it goes, so it takes longer for it to fill. We don't compact very well here.
Right.
And so once it's filled, we're on to some other place. But if you compact it, you actually take a longer time for the landfill to fill.
Right. We're joined over the telephone now by Dr. Emmanuel Soa, and we'll look into this quickly. Dr. Emmanuel Soa is a public health physician. Hello, Dr. Soa.
Hello.
10,000 schools in this country, no toilets. Cholera outbreak is staring us in the face, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tell us what this is really.
Well, it's about the opportunity that one, flies have to pick up these pathogenic or disease-causing germs and to spread them around on the food that the children are eating.
Yeah.
So even if the child has been taught to wash his or her hands before eating, the fly just comes to sit on the food, and the child consumes the food and gets sick. So how are we making sure that waste, human excreta, and rubbish, waste is not exposed to these flies that carry diseases around? Okay? So where you have no sanitation facilities and people are dumping their refuse anywhere and children have to ease themselves anywhere, or where the septic tanks are overflowing, then seriously somebody should be answering why we should expose our children to all this danger. And I think that is where the crux of the matter is. Because if we are teaching our children to wash their hands before they eat, and at the end of the day, flies are all over the place, the children go to the toilets and it's messy. And some of them go into the bush because they cannot even use the toilets in the school, even when they are available, because the toilets are so messy. Where are we going? And those are crucial questions we must answer. If we keep increasing enrollment into schools and we do nothing about the sanitation facilities in the schools, it's irresponsibility. When you make 1,000 students use 3 toilets or 4 toilets.
Exactly.
And then you increase that to 1,005 and you stand on radio and you brag that we have increased enrollment. Meanwhile, you did nothing about the toilet. It's like we don't know, we are not doing holistic development. We are just playing a political game, and we need to come off that. Otherwise, at the end of the day, it's going to come back to hurt the economy, as we have heard it reported. So we need to be more serious.
I see. In a public school of, say, 6,000 students, what would have been the appropriate number of toilets for the school?
I wouldn't be able to tell exactly, but you can bring it down to our homes. If you have in your house, you have about, let's say, 10 people living in there. You have no less than 2 toilets.
2 toilets.
In there. Yeah. So you take it to the school and just think that these are children who are now learning to, their personal hygiene and nature's call, how to handle it. And you can imagine that they'll be using the plates so frequently. So you are talking about children, about 1,000 children. You cannot have less than 20 or 30 toilets available.
And it must be cleaned periodically.
Regularly. Because there must be somebody there checking
Absolutely.
to make sure that the place is not
must
soiled.
be there.
But we have not come to the place where we deem it important to spend money to make sure that toilets are clean enough for children. They go there, they pick stuff, they put it on door handles, they put it on their tables, other children pick it, and they transmit it onto their food, they consume it, and
that's it.
you know, it's bad.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Soa. Dr. Emmanuel Soa is a public health physician, but Sherry Thompson is here with us still. Sherry, I'm going to give you the last word. What would you want to tell the DCEs, the MCEs, those with the big titles, and we see very little they are doing as far as sanitation is concerned?
What I would like to say is, when you build a school block, you must include the toilet facility. There should be no new school block. You shouldn't even complete a school block and commission it unless toilet facilities match the amount of young people, the amount of children that are going to be using that facility. So you can't tell me you're going to build a school and there's no toilet.
It's kind of difficult to wrap your mind around that. How do you build a school and not build toilets? I mean, who does that?
Well, as a contractor, and contractors are who I've been talking to, and what they say is this, and this is the mentality. If we don't take the contract and build it the way the client wants it, he'll give it to somebody else. So who is the client but the government? And so the client must say, this school, we want you to build it, and we want you to put 12 toilets inside.
The client is not thinking.
The client is not thinking.
At all. And
it's a political situation.
Look at that. And hopefully when donor agencies like those that Sherry works with come up with ideas and solutions to our problems, you learn to maintain them as well. Hopefully the client at that point will start thinking.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Start thinking. Thank you very much, Sherry. Sherry Thompson is also known as Mama Lu. She's championed the cause for toilet facilities, especially in the Lekma area, and she's worked with Ghana Wash Project, and they've done some good stuff, and I hope that those of you in Lekma are managing the facility they gave you. Thank you very much for staying through News Desk. My name is Kemeni Nyamani Ama. I'll see you again at midday on News 6.